So I'm going to very quickly go through NotebookLM and how it can be used to help your students with revision or just basically understanding certain topics within your subject. So the first thing we want to do is we'd want to go to NotebookLM. This can be Googled, or you can find it through the 9 dots, which will take you straight to NotebookLM. Now these are some of my previous notebooks that I've created. Let's create a new new notebook. Which the first thing you'd need to do is choose your sources. Now I'm going to choose to upload one of my sources, and so now I've selected that. That's loading. Now you can add all sorts of resources that you want. In this case I've got a PDF, which is the textbook that we use to deliver the course. You can also go to certain websites, YouTube videos. You may have other documents in Drive. You may have a piece of text that you've copied. So anything that you find reliable or useful, feel free to add here. And what Notebook will do is it will only use the sources that you've actually added to generate the content. So unlike other sort of generative AIs, they will sort of use some websites which may not be reliable. It may sometimes create its own content, but in this case it will only use the content that you've actually provided. You may want to research some things here, so you can actually choose whether you're going to use research. So you may want to search something. You can search it from the web if you want, or from Drive. And you can choose whether you've got fast research or deep research. It will sort of bring websites that you can use, and then you can select which websites you want to use after that. Now with NotebookLM, the different types of content you can actually create, you can see on the right hand side here. So you've got audio overview, video overview, mind maps, reports, flashcards, quizzes, infographics, slide decks, and data tables. Now I will try and speak to you about some of the pros and cons of these. Now obviously that's taken a little while to load up my book. My book is I think it's about 500 pages. So it has taken a couple of minutes to do that. It has given me a general summary. I can ask it questions like I would with any other generative AI. It will give you the answers, but this is where I like how everything is used. So I'm going to go to audio overview, and I'm going to choose what type of audio overview I want. So I've got in my deep dive, my brief, critique, debate. I just wanted to sort of summarize what is in a particular chapter. Now my course or my book, it covers the whole of the A level, so 2 years worth. In AS level we have 12 chapters. In A level we have 8 chapters. I'm just going to focus on my year 13 content for now. So I'm going to go into a deep dive, and you can see it's a lively conversation between two hosts unpacking and connecting topics in your sources. You can have something brief, so a bite-sized overview to help you grasp the core ideas from your sources quickly. A critique and expert review of your sources, offering constructive feedback to help you improve your material. Don't want that. Or a debate. In this case, we're just giving the information, so one of these two I think will be a lot better. I'm going to go to deep dive, so it will actually create a podcast between two hosts. Make sure it's in English. My students are obviously learning in English, so that's what I'm going to use. And as far as I know at the moment, only the English language would actually allow the student to actually sort of stop the podcast and ask its own questions, as if there's someone who's actually sat in the audience or on call to ask these questions. You do have these 3 options. Default, I believe, can sort of create something between 12 to 40 minutes, which could be very long, especially thinking about the sort of attention span of our students. A short one might be better. This may sort of keep it between 3 to 5 minutes. What should the AI hosts focus on this episode? Now I want it to only discuss chapter 13, so I'm going to say discuss chapter 13 only. I'm going to make sure everything is in UK English with British accents. Okay. I can say that I want it to explain content so that weaker learners will also understand, and use real life scenarios so that it is more relatable. Real life scenarios, let's say, that are more relatable relatable to A-level students for easier understanding. Okay, so I can choose that, and hopefully it will stick to what I've asked for. I'll click generate. Now obviously it is sort of going through the whole chapter 13, it's thinking about ideas, it's generating that audio. This is not going to take a few seconds. As you can see, it does say to come back in a few minutes. I could do the same for a video overview. Now I should have actually copied and pasted what I had earlier on, but anyway, let's try that again. So do I want a brief video or do I want an explainer? I'm going to go for an explainer video. Again, I can choose the language. Now, what I do not like about the audio overview is once it's created it, you cannot actually sort of skip certain bits or rewind and go back. You can sort of interject and ask your questions, but you cannot sort of listen to half of it at one time and sort of come back and listen to the second half later on. With the video overview, it is a lot more easier to do that. And obviously it's a lot more visual in this case. So I've gone to the explainer version. English is what I want. I can now choose the visual style. So I've got auto select, custom, classic, quite a few nice looking ones there. I'm going to go for, let's go for watercolor. And what should the AI focus on? I'm going to say chapter 13 only in UK British English with English accents. Hopefully it can do that. Let's see. With English accents, explain, typing's a bit funny, explain content with examples that A-level students, let's put in an age there as well, aged 17 to 18, A-level students can relate to. Ensure content is simplified enough for weaker students to understand, but also go into enough detail to add depth of understanding. Okay, so that's my prompt. You can obviously go to something like Gemini, ChatGPT, put this prompt in there, ask it to improve the prompt, and obviously you can get better prompts that way. So let's generate that. So again, my audio overview is still being developed, still generating my video one. We can also get a mind map. This should only take a few seconds. Reports, we can get reports. So there's different types of reports that we can make. Study guide could be a good one, so let's go for that as well. Again, I should have copied and pasted, but we'll come back to that later. Flashcards. In fact, flashcards, I can also do the same for flashcards, put in the prompts there, ask them for it once. Quiz, it can obviously generate quizzes for the students to be able to test themselves. Infographic would obviously create a poster with all the information on it. Slide deck and data table. Now, I'm going to go back to one that I've actually made earlier because I knew these will take a while to generate. So here are a few that I've made earlier. So let's start off with the mind map. So once I click on the mind map, it's got my different areas here. So I wasn't able to sort of filter it down, but let's go to information representation. Oh, for some reason, okay. So let's go to data representation. So I should have actually clicked on the arrow. Let's go to multimedia. I've got all of these sections here, so it's actually sort of going into a bit more detail. Okay, now once I've decided, so it's actually sort of summarized a lot of the information here for me. But if I go into something in a bit more detail, let's go to number systems by binary. It's actually going to generate the information that I might want. Okay, so it's going to go in, generate that information. So that is another way. Creating that mind map is more of sort of like a contents page. And now that's giving me a lot of information that the student can basically read through and try to get a bit of an understanding. The student can ask more questions. It's suggested some questions that they can add. So these are things we can do there as well. So let's come back out of that. So I've got everything there in the chat, which I've just gone through. So that was the first one. Now, if I go to my audio overview, we can actually
You'd have a trip hazard.
You'd have digital confetti.
Okay,
And
so here it has actually
Let's start with the basics of structure. Segment 1, user-defined data types. So in basic programming, you get your standard toolkit. You've got integers for whole numbers, strings for text,
Booleans for true false.
So it has sort of got that into a bit of detail, but where I go to interactive, unfortunately in this case, I cannot sort of forward and reverse.
Hello and welcome back to the deep dive. Today we are opening up the bonnet of the machine and looking at the engine.
Okay,
you know, there's this cliche that everyone repeats, usually people who don't code. The computers are just ones and zeros.
It's the ultimate dinner party simplification, isn't it? Oh, it's all just binary.
Exactly.
So now if there's something that I want to sort of press upon about...
But if I just walked into your house and dumped a bucket full of plastic ones and zeros on your living room floor, you wouldn't have a computer. Oh, hey there, how can we help?
So when you say computers just use binary ones and zeros, why do we use hexadecimal?
You know, that is a fantastic word to chime in with.
And it would obviously then answer my question.
When we talk about data, accessibility is everything.
Because what good is a perfect system if the user can't actually interface with it?
Right. If you've got that bucket of ones and zeros, it's not accessible.
You wouldn't have a computer.
No.
So it's actually talked about sort of why hexadecimal is used, how it's more used for the user to be able to interact with the computers. Ones and zeros would be very difficult for us to understand. So that's a rough idea on the audio overview. We can go to the video overview, so how computers handle data. Okay, so
right, when we think about computer data, our minds usually jump to the simple stuff.
So again,
simple integer or a string just can't handle all that on its own. So how on earth do computers manage it?
So if you can see, it has actually used a more British style accent.
Well, the answer starts with something called custom data types. You see, basic data types are a bit like individual Lego bricks. They're useful for sure, but they're limited. If you want to build something meaningful, like a model of a car or a person, you have to combine those bricks into a proper structure.
Okay, so yeah, so we do have everything sort of in video.
Real-time system, like a cash machine that needs to find your balance.
I did choose the anime style, so it's got anime style images.
Right now. Okay, let's make this a bit more real. Imagine you're at the school office, and they need to look up your details on the system. Are they going to scroll through every single student in the school?
So in this case, that's only 6 minutes long, so that's a lot better. So I've gone through the mind map. We've also got flashcards. Okay, so which would sort of should have been generated already. I think it's coming up with a random one. So what is a user-defined data type? So the student can think about what is a user-defined data type. They sort of guess it. There we go, a data type created by a programmer based on existing data types to suit specific program requirements. Okay, let's go into the next one. Define a non-composite data type. You can think of an answer, see the answer, and it's basically taking all the information from the textbook. What is an enumerated data type? Let's have a guess. There we go, we've got the information there. Okay, so that's a flashcard, good for revision in that sense. We can also go to, let's go to my infographic. Okay, so I have asked it to summarize chapter 13. So it's got the different types of user-defined data types. It's got your comparison of file access methods. So we've got sequential and direct access. Okay, has it got okay, hashing algorithm it's got there. So it looks like it doesn't have my ways of actually storing information. So it's got my different sort of comparisons there, floating points and how to sort of calculate floating points. So a bit of information there. And then we've got our infographic we've gone through. We've also got our quiz, which we can go through. And again, oh no, that's a video. Where's my quiz? There we go, the quiz. Okay, and it will ask sort of multiple choice questions. Give me the right answer. Let's go for next. Okay, there we go. There we go. So the record stored in next. Okay, so it's giving a bit of information there as well. So it's a good tool for students to sort of study by themselves. And the last one, what I've gone through is chapter 13. I've asked it to generate. So this one is me using the data table. I've actually asked it to go in and gather all of the keywords and give me the definitions with examples for chapter 13. So all in all, that's taken me not too long to do, and that's just for one chapter. What I should be doing is potentially saving or copying all of the prompts that I've been doing. So if I go to, let's say, for example, my video prompt, I can actually select here, view custom prompt, and it's got the prompt that I've actually put in to generate. So you do need to do a bit of planning, a bit of thinking behind that. It might be worth thinking about doing each subchapter itself or the whole chapter. That's up to you, depending on how much depth you want to go through. And I think the key thing is now you can actually send that to your students. So if I come to Google Classroom, I can actually create, and I've got an option here, which is a NotebookLM. I will come to select my existing NotebookLM, and the one that I made now, I should have actually given it a better name. I can actually select the one that I want, and what the students will actually see is they'll actually see all of this information here that I've actually generated for them. If there's something that I didn't like, I could easily delete it. I could rename these to be a bit more appropriate for the students, maybe chapter 13 infographic, chapter 13 video, chapter 13 keyword, well, I've already got that. But I could rename these a bit better. Unfortunately, we can't sort of move these around. I think it would be good if we could, but we can't. It does sort of generate its own order, which I don't necessarily like, but I think considering everything else we can do, it is super duper useful. So I think it's worth sort of giving that a go. Please do let me know in the comments if you used it, how that went. And if you want to also have access to my notebook here as well, please also let me know. I can share that with you as well, so you can maybe sort of have a look at some of the prompts that I've used. So for example, for my keywords, you can see exactly what I've done. I can share this all with you, which you can use and obviously amend to what you're after. Let's change the name of this. Let's put in a level revision. Okay, so now I can actually share that. Does that come up straight away? No, it doesn't. No, so I may just need to refresh that. Let's try that again. So create NotebookLM and select existing. Hopefully that comes A-level revision. I can actually attach that notebook. Okay, and now the students will have everything here. Is that online yet? Nope, I need to just add my details. A-level revision, highlight at the top of the class. Let's post that. There we go, so that's there for students to make use of. Open by 0 students, I can see how many students have used it, and I think that will be a good tool to help them revise, and they can choose how they use it to revise. They've got all the tools there for them. So I think give that a go. Let me know in the comments if you want access to mine so you can use some of the prompts. Let me know how you got on as well. Thank you very much, and all the best.